So, I want to tell you guys about my postpartum story. I have many stories. So, my postpartum story. So, I gave birth to my daughter at 38 weeks and 6 days. Emergency C-section at UC Davis Hospital in Sacramento. Was I satisfied with my care there? I'm gonna be honest and say no. Did I feel neglected? I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna say yeah. I felt like the nurses didn't listen to me. I didn't really see the doctors until I head into surgery, my emergency surgery. I believe I saw an anesthesiologist trying to administer me the shot in my back, the epidural, and I remember it not working. I think that's the first time I saw a doctor that day. Maybe a doctor came in and was reading my stress test on my stomach and then told me I had to go in. I saw and talked to 3 nurses. I talked to one doctor when they read and looked over my stress test on my stomach, took me back. Then I saw another doctor that was an anesthesiologist who tried to give me my medicine and then it didn't work. So then they had to put me to sleep to take the baby out. So I want to start there. So when I woke up, I'm no longer pregnant, right? I woke up, woo, to cry. I woke up in a room that it looked like a waiting room where you just put your patient somewhere. Like, it looked like it wasn't even a room. It was like in a hallway basically with a curtain. That's where I woke up when I woke up from my surgery. And I would say I was very disappointed because I just felt like in my head, when you have a baby, you are supposed to be in a room and your child's supposed to be there. So I just felt like waking up at a surgery and not seeing my physical child in that moment made me believe that she didn't survive for whatever reason. I believed when you're froggy and you're coming out of the medicine and they gave you to put you under, and you're waking up and you're confused, you're in a hallway with a curtain and there's no one around you. I know it's COVID, there was no one around me. I just remember screaming and yelling, and then I saw my mother coming. That's all I remember. But imagine you're having an emergency C-section, then all of a sudden they tell you you're gonna be put to sleep to take the baby out, and then when you wake up, you're in a hallway with a curtain around you and there's no one there. You know, basically it took me about a few hours to wake up from my surgery is what they told me. It took 4 hours for them to do the C-section and repair my uterus is what they told me afterwards as well. And soon as I woke up, I remember them pushing me into my room, and then I remember asking them to see my child and being told I couldn't do that unless I could physically walk myself. Remind you guys, I just had a C-section and I had a uterine repair that took 4 hours, and you just had all that medicine administered to you. It's not really something I think the average person can just get up and do, and I got up and did it anyway. I stood up, I tried to put myself in the wheelchair, and I fell on my face. I remember no one helping me. I remember the staffing just looking at me. It took a very long time to come help me off the ground. Imagine, just had a C-section, just had a uterine repair, and I want to see my baby, so I get up, try to get in the seat myself, fall on my face, flop on my face. No one comes to help me. That's what happened. My mother was there. My mother, she is a heart patient. You know, she's very ill herself. Not her job to help me. It was their job. Very, very upset. So imagine you waking up, you're doing all these things in the first few hours. It is a complete shit show. I came in with a list of things of how I wanted my pregnancy to go, and it didn't go to plan at all. I had a doula. The doula couldn't even come in to help me because of COVID. I'm going to have one person to count the doula as my one person over my mother. No, I choose my mother. And the doula was staff at that hospital as well. So they should have allowed me to have my doula and my mother there. Did not let me. I'm just mentioning that because as the story go on, you're going to start to wonder, where are the people advocating for me? There was none. Even though I advocated for myself, did not listen to me. I remember taking a nap, trying again to go see my child. At that point, it's 11 o'clock. I maybe seen my kid at 2, 3 in the morning. And I was able to put myself in the chair, see my kid. And that does matter because I remember being too weak to carry her myself, or like having a very hard time like moving my body. I just had a very hard time moving my body. So I just remember the nurse and the NICU helping me put the baby on me, my baby on me, which was very emotional. Baby was sleeping. She was resuscitated because, again, breech birth, emergency C-section, and all the things she had to encounter were both encountered at the same time. It was very traumatic. I didn't anticipate it to be that way. I didn't think it was going to be that way. And I felt like I'm more than educated and understanding and had a very strict plan and a doula, and, you know, to make sure things like this didn't happen, and it happened anyway. So out of my control. Very fortunate that we're both fine. We were both fine in that moment. But the problem is I had lots of complications after I had my baby. So I remember putting her down. She stayed in the NICU. We're both pretty much there for like a week. I go back to my room. I try to walk around. I just remember being unable to use the restroom. I wasn't able to use the restroom for that whole week. So the first few days, unable to use the restroom. On the second day, I just went completely ill. I was unable to walk. I was unable to communicate like effectively. Like it just got to a point where I just laid in bed. I didn't really talk when the nurses came in. Nothing. I had a few people like social workers come in, which really pissed me off. Why are you seeing social workers in my room? I'm in a fragile state of mind, fragile state of body. You have social workers coming in my room, basically asking me to give my child up. And to this day, I don't understand why they did that to me. Again, educated black, single mother. I don't know. You know, also the specialists came in to help me breastfeed. And every time they try to help me, they never helped me latch the baby onto me. So I would say I even left the hospital not even knowing how to properly breastfeed. The only thing I did learn that they helped me do was set me up to do the breast pump to do the milk for the baby. So for the first week, that's kind of how she ate. Actually, for the first 3 weeks was how she ate. I was pumping because she just could not latch, and I also could not put her on me because, again, I don't know why. I don't know why my arms were not working. Like, my arms, I just had no, like, real mobile function in my arms. I was just having a hard time grabbing, lifting stuff. Shit show. So, as I became very ill, I remember having a nurse who did not listen to me. I kept telling her I didn't feel good, and she kind of just didn't do anything. And then I had a great nurse who did listen to me, but when she went off staff, I had the other nurse again. And it got to a point where they had to take me back into surgery again. And this time, they had to cut open that same C-section area. And to be brutally honest with you, when they, after your surgery and they put the binding on you and stuff like that, and you're so doped up, I would say I still felt like complete SHIT. I looked still 8 months pregnant, and it was terrible. Like, it was terrible. After they did the surgery, like what, 18 hours after, I still haven't had one bowel movement. They're not gonna let me leave until I have a bowel movement, right? Anyway, so I remember them trying to do everything to get me to have a bowel movement. Oh, kidding. At this point, after the surgery, I woke up with tubes, urinary tube in my collection tube, and I woke up with a damn thing in my nose. I don't know the terminology for it, but this is important to know because I feel like, you know, how can you plan or see that coming when you're a healthy young woman who has a track background, who is completely healthy, having their first kid, you know, what is going on? I couldn't eat. So at this point, I couldn't eat anything at all. So I wasn't able to eat anything at all for like 48 hours. I remember them giving me hydration, like they were giving me IV and stuff like that. And I had a bag for my urine. I had a damn tube in my nose coming out. Yeah, tube coming out. I'm gonna insert the pictures if I can find the pictures above here somewhere. It was terrible. And I think I was like that for like 2 days, another 2 days. So if you get me straight. I had the C-section, and then within 48 hours, I had to go back in, have another surgery. I was septic. They had to get all the blood and all that stuff put together, blah, blah. And I'm not saying blah, blah like in blah, blah. I'm just saying blah, blah because I really don't want to remember what they did to me because it was very traumatic and it was very terrible. I did love my nurses and doctors for my baby though. They were all sweet. I feel like they were all listening, helpful. My baby had a little jaundice. She was great. She was in the NICU. Over the days after she was taken from the NICU, they put her in my room and it was just me. They were worried about trying to recover now from my second surgery in 48 hours. I had a tube in my freaking nose, tube from my urine. It was a whole bunch of hot mess. Again, my doula and my mom was switching in and out, coming to see me because they wouldn't let two people in the room at the same time. Fucking terrible. And I hate that I'm cussing, but effing terrible. She's a staff. It shouldn't even count. Anyway, I like to keep mentioning that because it really pissed me off. And I thought it was really abnormal. And I remember my doula even saying that she couldn't believe this was happening. So she was I don't know why it just happened. But I would say like after my surgery, 2 days prior, like after that, I was a little bit more mobile. But I would say at night when I was ringing the bell, they would take forever to come, which kind of pissed me off because my baby was crying and I needed help to get her. I had a hard time. To this day, like as strong as I am, I can't believe I had such a hard time getting up to get my baby. I don't know, but I'm hurt, I'm injured, all these different things happening internally. That's why. Again, I remember them after I had my second surgery. I remember them taking some pills and putting it up my anal area to help me have it expel, which didn't do anything. I think it took 3 days after that to have a bowel movement. And when it was, I know it's too much information, really hard as rocks, it was barely anything came out. It was terrible, you guys. I remember being put on prescription as well when I went home, some laxatives and all that different kind of stuff to help my bowels start moving. Eventually, when I did get home, my bowels just started moving. Again, I know it's too much information, but imagine not being able to use the restroom for over a week. You know, like, no bueno. For a healthy young woman, didn't see that coming. Didn't see it coming at all. I didn't think it was going to be as hard as I thought it was going to be. And I say that because I've done a lot of hard stuff and physically tested myself in different areas over the years of different things I've done in athletics and stuff like that. And because my And because my baby was coming so fast, I think my labor was like only an hour. Like, so they had to hurry up and get me to sleep. You get what I'm saying? She was coming out feet first. I thought it was gonna be a smooth breeze when, and it wasn't. So that really just, it took me out. It took me, forced, surprised. Nothing went about my birth plan. Didn't have my doula, didn't have anything. Just terrible. I'm trying to tell you guys, just terrible. So yeah, that is my after birth story in regards to my second surgery.